Ever wonder what life was like for baby boomers growing up back in the 1960s? From the toys we played with, to the way we went to school and watched movies? Get ready to take a trip down memory lane and discover just how different things were back then. The 60s may have been over half a century ago, but the experiences will definitely surprise you. Landing your first job in the 1960s meant earning a meager wage of just $1 to $1.50 per hour. Despite the seemingly paltry sum, it was a significant achievement, allowing you to earn spending money that surpassed the coins collected from returning empty cans and bottles. However, for teenagers during that era, a minimum wage job was about more than just earning money. It served as a valuable lesson in becoming a responsible and dedicated employee. This involved wearing a clean and well-pressed uniform, ensuring punctuality, and putting in sincere effort. In stark contrast, the last time I visited McDonald's, their sign advertised a starting pay of $15 per hour, a testament to how times have changed. In the 1960s, walking to school was the norm for most children, regardless of age. There were no carpools or parental drop-offs. Even at 6 years old, kids were sent off to make their way to school independently. This wasn't a matter of choice. It was an expectation that children would walk to school by themselves or accompany older siblings or neighbors who shared the same route. Parents didn't hesitate to hand over a packed lunch and send their youngsters on their solitary journey to the classroom. In contrast, today's reality is strikingly different. Very few children still walk to school. Most either ride the bus or rely on their parents to navigate through long queues of vehicles during drop-off and pickup times. The once commonplace sight of children traversing neighborhoods on foot has been replaced by a cacophony of idling cars and buses at school entrances. The shift from independent walking to reliance on vehicular transportation highlights the changing perceptions of safety and convenience over the decades. While the 1960s expected children to navigate their way to school, modern times prioritize parental involvement and supervised transportation, even if it means enduring lengthy car lines to pick up your children. Walking home from school was fun because you could stop at a store and buy candy. Back then, a little bit of coin money could get you a big bag of candy. You could also go there and get an ice cream drink, and you could sit at the counter and drink it like an adult. From a young age, kids learned about earning money, counting it, and spending it, which is something kids today don't really know about. Nowadays, kids think that plastic cards are the only way to pay for things. Imagine a time when winding your wristwatch was a daily ritual, a simple act that ensured your timepiece kept ticking. This was the norm in an era when battery-powered watches were still a novelty, and their widespread availability was yet to come. Back then, learning to read an analog clock face was a fundamental skill, as most timepieces displayed only hands pointing to Roman numerals or tick marks. In stark contrast, today's digital age has brought about a generational shift. You might be surprised to learn that there are children who struggle to decipher the hands of an analog clock, having grown up in a world where such skills are no longer essential. The ubiquity of digital displays has rendered the art of reading traditional clocks a fading tradition, a relic of a time when the gentle sweep of hands was the universal language of timekeeping. Ah, the sheer delight that accompanied cracking open the iconic red egg to reveal the wondrous silly putty within, a simple compound that captured the imagination of countless children in the 1960s. Its seemingly magical properties allowed it to bounce and stretch, but the true enchantment lay in its ability to create precise copies of beloved comic strips from the newsprint pages. The thrill of carefully pressing the putty onto the inked panels and peeling it back to unveil a pristine replica was a priceless experience for kids of that era. Silly Putty was more than just a toy. It was a gateway to a world of imagination and creative expression. Yet, for those who experienced its wonders firsthand, Silly Putty remains an indelible part of their childhood memories. A reminder of the boundless joy that could be found in the simplest of playthings, and the enduring power of imagination to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. The 1960s was an era when toys came with an inherent element of risk. From science experiment kits that emitted toxic fumes to plastic melting ovens like the Thing Maker, playthings of that time taught children an early lesson. Life could be dangerous, and caution was necessary. Back then, even a BB gun was considered a toy, and every child coveted one. In stark contrast, modern times have ushered in a heightened awareness of safety standards. Toys that pose a choking hazard are swiftly removed from store shelves, a far cry from the bygone days when children seemed unfazed by burns, scrapes, and scars. These physical marks were once viewed as badges of honor, a testament to the resilience of a generation built differently. The toys of the 1960s not only fueled imagination, but also instilled a sense of responsibility in their young users. Children learned to navigate the potential hazards that accompanied their playthings, an experience that shaped their understanding of the world around them. While today's safety regulations aim to protect, the toys of yesteryear offered a unique brand of life lessons, forging a generation that embraced risk as an integral part of childhood adventures. When it comes to food, the 1960s offered some dishes that would likely turn the stomachs of many young people today. Jell-O, which is now primarily considered a dessert, was once treated as an entire meal in itself. Our mothers would experiment by adding all sorts of ingredients to Jell-O, and I mean all sorts of ingredients. If you happen to come across a cookbook from that era, you can be sure it will contain at least one recipe for a gelatin mold made with ham, vegetables, or even fish. If you had a mother who insisted you finish your entire dinner before leaving the table, well, you were probably going to be sitting there for quite a while. Today, we navigate pregnancy with an abundance of caution, meticulously avoiding anything that might pose a risk to the unborn child. From abstaining from caffeine and deli meats to diligently taking prenatal vitamins and supplements, expectant mothers go to great lengths to ensure a healthy journey. However, rewind to the 1960s and the landscape was starkly different. Mothers-to-be often continued their lifestyles with little alteration, undeterred by the prospect of impending motherhood. If a woman smoked before conception, she likely carried on with the habit, and if alcohol was part of her routine, it frequently remained so. This wasn't a conscious disregard for the well-being of their unborn children. Rather, the potential dangers of such practices were not fully understood or acknowledged at the time. It's almost comical, and perhaps a bit unsettling, to flip through old family albums and come across images of a visibly pregnant mother nonchalantly holding a cigarette, a stark contrast to our present-day sensibilities. And there you have it, a glimpse into how drastically things have changed since the 1960s. From the way we experienced entertainment and paid for things, to the toys we played with and the jobs we took on as teenagers, it's clear that the world baby boomers grew up in was vastly different from the one we know today. So the next time you find yourself marveling at the luxuries of our present day, take a moment to appreciate the stark contrasts with the past. It's a reminder of how far we've come and a testament to the ever-evolving nature of human society. As always, thank you for watching.